everyone, welcome back to Aspiring World. In this video, I will share current affairs from 8th April 2020 to 16th April 2020. If you haven't subscribed it yet, consider subscribing. We will be posting summary of all the important current affairs every week. This video contains only the important current affairs for this week. So if you want all, go check our website or download our app Daily Current Affair. So let's start. IGOT e-learning platform. The Department of Personnel and Training has announced the launch of a learning platform to combat COVID-19 for all frontliners workers to equip them with the training and updates in the coping with pandemic. The target group is doctors, nurses, central and state government officers, civil defense officers, various police organizations, National Cadet Corps, Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, National Service Schemes, Indian Red Cross Society, Bharat Scouts and Guides, and other volunteers. The platform delivers curated, role-specified content to each learner at his place of work or home. To begin with, 9 courses on it has been launched on topics like Basic of COVID, ICU care and ventilation management, clinical management, infection prevention through PPE, quarantine and isolation, laboratory sample collection and testing, etc. GISAT. As on April 7, India has shared 9 whole genome sequences of the novel coronavirus with the Global Initiative on Sharing All Influenza Data. GISAT is a public-private partnership between the German government and the non-profit organization Friends of GISAT. It provides public access to the most complete collection of generic sequence data of influenza viruses, related clinicals, and epidemiological data through its database. The database is hosted by the German government. In 2020, GISAT entered into the global research effort to understand the virus causing COVID-19 disease, making available over 2,600 genomic sequences that are modeled in real time, helping to track the movement of the virus across the planet. PPE, quarantine and isolation, laboratory sample collection and testing, etc. Next. National Analytical Platform for Dealing with Intelligent Tracing, Tracking and Containment. The Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, has prepared a data science-based tool to make easy the task of tracking the movements of COVID-19 patients or quarantined people across the country. The system has been named National Analytical Platform for Dealing with Intelligent Tracing, Tracking and Containment, that is NAADI. The information generated by the tool would be accurate up to a meter and would be of much help for medical professionals, law enforcement agencies, and data scientists. Next, WHO funding. President Donald Trump threatened to freeze US funding to the World Health Organization, saying the international group had missed the call on the coronavirus pandemic and that it was very China-centric to its approach. There are 4 kinds of contribution that make up the funding for the WHO. They are assessed contribution, specified voluntary contribution, core voluntary contributions, and PIP contributions. Assessed contributions are the dues countries pay in order to be the member of the organization. The amount each member state must pay is calculated relative to the country's wealth and population. Voluntary contributions come from the member states or from other partners. They can range from flexible to highly earmarked. Core voluntary contribution allow less well-funded activities to benefit from a better flow of resources and ease implementation bottlenecks that arise when immediate financing is lacking. Pandemic Influenza Preparedness (PIP) contribution was started in 2011 to improve and strengthen the sharing of influenza viruses with human pandemic potential, and to increase the access of developing countries to vaccines and other pandemic-related supplies. Next, Users Letter of Credit. Coal India Limited is supplying about 80% of its coal to power sector consumers, and 550 million ton coal has been offered for power sector in the current year 2020-2021. In order to provide relief to the power sector consumers, the increased liquidity in the system, CIL has already offered the facility of Users Letter of Credit to power sector consumers for payment of coal instead of cash advance for the fuel supply agreements. This will help significantly in improving the working capital cycle of the generators. The CIL has also introduced the same mechanism for customers of non-power sectors in the month of April 2020. This will be a big boost to the liquidity in the market and at the same time will also provide the much anticipated relief to the customer of coal. Next, postal life insurance and rural postal life insurance. Government has extended the premium payment period for postal life insurance and rural postal life insurance till 30th of June this year. Ministry of Communication said, in view of lockdown across the country, the customer of postal life insurance and rural postal life insurance are facing difficulty in approaching post offices for payment of premium. The ministry has given an extension of period for payment of their due premium of March, April and May 2020 up to 30 June without charging any penalty and default fee. Postal life insurance was introduced in 1884. It now covers employees of central and state government, central and state public sector undertakings, universities, governments, aided educational institutions, nationalized bank, local bodies, autonomous bodies, joint ventures having a minimum of 10% government PSU stake, credit cooperative societies, etc. Rural Postal Life Insurance (RPLI) started pursuant to the recommendation of Official Committee for Reforms in the Insurance Sector Malhotra Committee submitted in 1993. It is meant for anyone residing in rural area. It is boon for migrant labor and artisans and the unorganized sector who move on to the urban areas for employment but they continue to have a rural base. Labor migrating overseas are also eligible for this policy. Next, Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. The Global Chemical Watchdog on Wednesday for the first time explicitly blamed Syria for toxic attacks, saying President Bashar al-Assad's Air Force used the nerve gas sarin and chlorine 3 times in 2017. The first report from a new investigative team set up by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons to identify the perpetrators of attack in Syria's ongoing 9-year-long civil war. Western nations and right group condemned Syria following the release of the report, which will now go to the United Nations among others to decide what and if any further action needs to be taken. Western nation and human rights groups praised the OPCW report, saying it proved Syria continued chemical attacks on its own population. Almost 2 years ago, the OPCW confirmed that sarin and chlorine were used in the 2 attacks on the town, but did not name those responsible at the time. The OPCW won the Nobel Prize in 2013 for its work in Syria and says it has eliminated 97% of the world's chemical weapons. Next, Bharat Padhe Online. The Union Minister of Human Resource Development, Ramesh Pokhriyal, launched a week-long Bharat Padhe Online campaign for crowdsourcing of ideas for improving the online education ecosystem of India. Union Minister said that this campaign aims to invite all the best brains in the country to share solutions directly with the HRD Ministry to overcome constraints of online education. He added that ideas can be shared on bharatpadheonline.mhrd@gmail.com and on Twitter by using hashtag BharatPadheOnline till 16th April 2020. He further said that educators across the country can also come forward to contribute with their expertise and experience in the field of education. The development comes amid the countrywide lockdown which is imposed to stop the spread of coronavirus. Next, WTO status. President Donald Trump has accused China of taking advantage of the US through the World Trade Organization, saying that if China is considered a developing country, the US should be called one too. The WTO does not define countries as developing or developed. Member nations themselves are required to declare which category they fall under. However, these declarations can be challenged by other member nations. Over 2/3 of WTO's member countries are developing countries, that is 164. Some WTO agreements give developing countries special benefits and rights, which is referred to as special and differential treatment provisions. These provisions include a longer time period for implementing agreements and commitments or measures to increase trading opportunities for developing countries. Essentially, under these agreements, developed countries may treat developing countries more favorably than other WTO members. Next, Bank Assurance Agreements. Insurance regulator IRDAI has allowed the 4 banks emerging from the recent mega bank merger exercise to continue for a year with existing bancassurance agreements for the lenders that amalgamated with them. Bancassurance means selling insurance product through banks. Banks and insurance companies come up in the partnership wherein the bank sells the tied insurance company's insurance product to its client. On the other hand, the bank earns fee amount from the insurance company apart from the interest income whereas on the other hand, the insurance firm increases its market reach and customers. Next, Yukti. Union Minister for HRD Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has launched a web portal Yukti, Young India Combating COVID with Knowledge, Technology and Innovation. Today in New Delhi. It's a unique portal and dashboard to monitor and record the efforts of initiatives of MHRD. A portal intends to cover the different dimensions of COVID-19 challenges in a very holistic and comprehensive way. Speaking on the occasion of Union Minister said that in the wake of COVID-19 threat, our primary aim is to keep our academic community healthy, both physically and mentally, and to enable a continuous high-quality learning environment for learners. The portal is an effort of the HRD Ministry to achieve this goal in these difficult times. Next. Primordial black holes. A scientist duo from city-based Intercity Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics IUCAA has studied primordial black holes that were born as a result of tiny bumps in the potential energy levels of the universe at a time when it was expanding rapidly. Primordial black holes PBH were formed during the hot Big Bang phase. It is believed that they are formed as a result of collapsing radiations as opposed to the collapse of massive star, which is the case of any other black holes. The recent study has confirmed that this marginal rise in potential energy resulted in the birth of several BPHs and also emitted very powerful gravitational waves. PBH can be massively large as 3000 kilometers or be extremely tiny like the nucleus of an atom. Next. Article 164(4). The Maharashtra Cabinet recommended Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray's nomination to one of the governor nominee seats in the Legislative Council. Thackeray took charge as the Chief Minister on November 28, 2019 and has to become the member of the state legislature before May 28 or resign and again take the oath. As of now, he is not the member of either state assembly or council. Thackeray had planned to get elected to the upper house, but all the elections have been postponed by the election commissions in the wake of COVID-19. Once the governor accepts the cabinet's recommendation, Thackeray will continue in the post. Article 164(4) of the Constitution of India states that a minister who for any period of 6 consecutive months is not the member of legislature of the state shall at the expiration of that period cease to be a minister. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions, post it down below in the comment section. We will be posting such videos every week. So hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss any update. Thanks for watching.